every day, everywhere. But what is this great telepathy really all about? Telepathy, according to its simple definition, is said to be the supposed communication of thoughts or ideas other than no senses. Wow. So there is indeed a way to communicate non-verbal without a word from our mouths. Telepathy is said to be indeed accomplished through the process of telekinesis, which is the power to manipulate matter by using matter through electricity or electromagnetism. Wow, this sure seems scientific, huh? Kind of like a science experiment. Well, we see that we are all indeed electrical, energetic beings that lives in a multi-universe surrounded by energy and electromagnetic waves. So we go about our daily lives transferring energy to each other through these electromagnetic fields. And so we know that energy is neither created nor destroyed. It just exists out there within us and in the universe. And so we can indeed transfer our energy through the process of telepathy, through our own thought. Telepathy is said to also have historical significance as ancient cultures, such as the Mayans and ancient Egyptians, would often use telepathy to communicate with their ascendants, past ancestors, and each other. So we see that telepathy indeed does have significant historical and ancient value through our spiritual community. But in our current world, has telepathy be transformed to somewhat an agenda that is not for greater good? Has telepathy been used in our everyday businesses and organizations through these occult entities to sort of go through their agenda to transfer their telepathic messages to us that doesn't serve us? We see today that we have a great number of transformational coaches, mentors, teachers, and guides that sort of have infiltrated the spiritual community and now is now using telepathy to perform the inner agenda to so much of us in this day and era that simply is not for greater good. Now let's delve into some actual uses of telepathy by means of this occult entity in our current world that is not for greater good and does not serve us, but simply a ploy to manipulate us to achieve their hidden agendas. So, we know that on a daily basis, we receive many thoughts. I like to look at our thoughts simply as clouds. As we can compare our head with our brain, and the thought forms within it, like Mother Earth, with the sky, with clouds passing through it each and every day. Some just shred along swiftly, others fall like rain and develop into storms. Now we have to actually tell ourselves, what are the thoughts that are we going to keep that is valuable to us? Let's take this example. You have this thought all of a sudden of just anger out of nowhere. No one has told you anything. You just get this sudden angry feeling. And you're just, you're walking on the street, maybe you're going to work, and you see another person and you just start swearing at them for no reason. You now have to tell yourself for a second, you tap into your mental body. Where did this thought form come from? Is that really of me, you know? Or was this just a telepathic message passing through the air by means of these occult entities, maybe causing you to get angry? Now, you have to take control over all of this. You have control over your own mental body. Just because you have a certain thought that's not for your highest good, don't mean that you have to preserve it, keep it. You could tell yourself, like, this is not even of me. Then you could shift it into something that makes you feel good. The key essence is anything that does not make you feel good on the inside, and your emotional body start reflecting. You see, if you even have that one thought, this is indeed a telepathic message to take hold of your mental body, as there has been a scheme to have mental power over many in this current world through telepathy and so much other means. But this is just one example, of the mental thought forms that can be passed on through telepathy. So you now have to really pay attention to that and see what are those thoughts that's just passing through the air and that's not of you. You don't have to keep them. Next, let's move on to friends, family, associates, people that you deal with every day, neighbors, whoever it is. And all of a sudden, when you communicate with that close loved one, a friend, family, that person, the way that they speak to you, you see that it's not of them. Let's say, for example, all of a sudden they pick up the habit of drinking alcohol, and you know that's not of them. In fact, they have been allergic to alcohol for years. And it's not just that all of a sudden they want to start drinking alcohol, but they're now chronic to the same. You see, as we look at the bigger picture of everything, we see that everything is kind of connected. Connected in a sense to get us to being lower vibrational. I know everybody have different habits, different vices, but particularly when you see those habits, those thoughts and patterns, that's not even really something ordinary that, not just you, but your friends and family associates do. You have to now even let go of that. You may now talk some sense into them and tell them, wow, this is not of you. Where did you develop that habit? Or you just, send good vibes to them and wish them well. You're communicating your own telepathic message to communicate higher vibrational, thought forms and frequencies in this world. So, as we look at these prime examples, we now have to see that we are indeed the shift of the ages from one age and era into another age, the Piscean to the Aquarian age. And so, many may not want to resort, what's really going on to see that in this way, but we're really going to some sort of spiritual warfare. And by means of telepathy, even the military and soldiers have used telepathy to communicate to each other when on the battlefield and send telepathic messages to their enemies, of course, when fighting in their war zone. And we have to now see that this is being taken to another level. This is being taken to some sort of like war zone where we, the common people in the world, are being treated like we're at war. And so the use of telepathy, like in military, is now being so prevalent in our everyday life to mind trick us and manipulate us and bamboozle us into being something that is not of our higher essence and greater good as we shift through the ages. Next, as we delve deeper, there's also another hidden agenda and ploy amongst our sexes as men and women. This ploy involves demasculinizing women. What do I mean by this? Let's start off with men. We see through the use of telepathy and so much going on right now, as many are going through the awakening stage, and they often go into that dark night of the soul trying to find out who they truly are at core, and they go into a state of confusion. Now, many times this is often a great time when these occult entities use their telepathic systems, spells, and mind tricks. Now, for men, the demasculinity involves often trying to feminize men, where they're confused with their own gender identity, where maybe sometimes they start acting more feminine, or they want to start wearing dresses, or they don't even associate themselves as a man. They start using certain pronouns. And so we now have to tell ourselves, what is this really coming into when you cannot even within your own self know who you really are at core? On the adverse side, we have women defeminizing women. You see women wanting to dress more masculine, act more masculine and aggressive. And of course, women, there's been a hidden agenda to have women cut their hair down so that they won't receive the divine wisdom from the greater cosmos and the ascended guides. Now, we know even through ancient and biblical texts that we see, and it states that our hair can transmute and receive this divine wisdom and messages, and can be stored within our hair and DNA body to allow us to receive this. Now, when we see all of this, we just see how the occult entities are really taking it to the extreme. Now, we cannot just look at everyday things just at shallow surface value anymore. We have to look at the broader picture, how all of this is all connected, and it's simply a way to keep us in a lower vibration frequencies and keep us from ascending higher into the appropriate age. Now, in light of all of this, we now have to tell ourselves, is this the reason why there is a huge agenda to get us to transform, to be transhumanism, robotic features, where our mind is hijacked, our hearts no longer exist, and our souls have been captivated by this so-called occult entities? We see how they have used the demasculinization and defeminization of men and women. So this has all been, some sort of an agenda to deplete us from our purest essence. Next, we see how they have infiltrated the spiritual community, as they know, they have to keep on doing things that most people are into. And as many people are awakening and becoming more spiritual, they now have to disguise themselves to present themselves in a manner that they are, who we are becoming to. So what do I mean by that? They've sort of become spiritual teachers, coaches, mentors, and spiritual guides. Now, the other thing that I really want to tap into is in the spiritual teachings, we hear of twin flames. And according to what this is said, during these spiritual texts, it is said that the twin flame is the person that you ought to spend your life with, during the course of your life to continue your soul's mission. Now we're now seeing that there's even an agenda in that, because the very teachings will explain a sort of like friction relationship even in this so-called twin flame journey. Now everybody have their own perceptions of things, but think of this for a minute. Why would you succumb to being on this certain journey and path of someone you consider a life and have this sort of friction relationship? That's the whole point of even awakening and coming out of the 3D version of the world. We've all had relationships and, gone through maybe breakup separations, and we've seen just how that hasn't even served us mental and emotional body. So as we continue to awaken into the higher five-dimensional realms and beyond, ask yourself, the teachings on the twin flame journey, does that really serve you or make you feel good? If you feel like you indeed are someone that wanna have a partner for the rest of your life, really look at the qualities of how you actually want to continue, and not just take their word as what is journey. The point here is to even express that they are sort of using this telepathic thought forms to trick you and bamboozle you, to maybe express to you that this is in fact your twin flame. And you now have to tell yourself, is that really how I want to continue living my life, based on the teachings that they have this twin flame journey? Based on, maybe you might have one person that will come along and you might say, no, that person does not feel like what a twin flame should be, or life partner, whatever definition that you choose to give it. So this is just a mere example to show you the high level of manipulative tactics that they're going through. Pay attention to your thought forms. Now, with your own level of spirituality, you have the gift of discernment. You, in fact, have your own level of psychic abilities and a deeper connection with the greater universe. You now have to really get into your meditative mode and connect with your higher self and your ascending teachers, masters, and guides. Not so much the ones here who disguise themselves as transformational coaches, mentors, and guides. So we see here the high level of manipulation and hidden cater to your mental, emotional, body, physical. Everything has to come together in our mind. And really tap deeply within the purest version of yourselves. In every interaction with me, because we all live in this electromagnetic field. As we see the use of telekinesis, the energetic electrical transfer through the electromagnetic waves. We now have to build ourselves so much that when these thought forms and hidden agenda comes via telepathy, and as we've even seen through the use of spells is another way of just trying to mind control us and delve into our greater consciousness. We have to now see to it that we cater not just to our brains, because our hearts is involved also. Everything within our body, does that make you feel good on the inside? Really open up your eyes a little bit deeper, tap deeper into your senses, balance your chakras, and connect deeply with your spiritual essence and your real ascended masters, teachers, and guides, and see through the tricks, lies, and hidden agenda of the use of telepathy start to use your own telepathy to tap into your own, psychic abilities within you and connect with those beyond the cosmos. So much love, so much bliss, so much peace, so much harmony and agreement to each and every one of you as you continue to tap into higher lessons, the agenda of the use of telepathy, but remain steadfast in your purest essence of love as we indeed shape through the ages into your